Good morning. Welcome to day 6. And day 6 is about ownership. And as we go into day 6, I want to acknowledge something I've consistently observed about the middle of the week. Today's Wednesday, May 6, 2026. And I noticed this, and I put it in our group about a week ago. The energy shifts. And let me know if you guys notice this as well. But the energy shifts towards the middle of the week. You'll see it at the end of the week too. The focus shifts as well. You'll notice that there's less traffic. This morning when I went to the gym, Wednesdays are guaranteed that there's less people at the specific time that I go. And it almost feels quieter. And I think there's something deeper in that we need to observe. Because in the beginning, it's always crowded. When we start something, it's exciting. Think about New Year's resolutions. Think about the excitement. Yeah, I'm going to do this, this. Like right now we're in May. I can assure you that most of the people that started these resolutions January 1st, many of them have fallen off. The motivation is worn thin. All the promises they made to themselves have been forgotten. And so now let's look at where we are today. We got a group. How many people are in our group? There's some people started strong. Some people have given up. And starting is very important, okay? You can't achieve anything without starting. But the middle is what reveals who we really are and what we're made of. When you look at those long distant races, you see a bunch of people in the beginning sprinting, and then when you look towards the end of the race, you see one guy, two guys, three people, not in groups. And I don't expect the same for this group. Some of us are stronger. We'll be able to make it to the end. The challenge isn't easy. I never said it was easy. It may appear to be easy. It's definitely simple, but the challenge is a challenge for a reason. And we're not in the middle yet, but it might feel like the middle. The motivation might have faded away that you felt in the beginning. Your emotions have kind of settled. You know, the emotions were running high in the beginning. Yeah, let's get this 30-day challenge. And now you're starting to see some resistance. You're starting to make excuses that don't sound like excuses anymore. Now it's reason. What used to be an excuse, now you're starting to find reason in that thing. And of course, the hesitation and the negotiation has started. And naturally, some of us have dropped off. Some of us have probably slowed down. We're not committed to 3 times a day. And some of us have compromised. And very few of us have just outright quit. Maybe we didn't even start. But here's a new chapter, okay? It's a 30-day challenge, but that's not the end. Today is not about condemnation or... It is about judgment, okay? Let's make no mistake. We judge. We judge, and we have the right to judge. What we don't have the right to do is condemn. So, and there's a difference. You see an apple and it's rotten. Judgment says that's a rotten apple. I'm not going to eat it. So calling a spade is perfectly fine. It's what you do after. Okay, mislabeling for the purpose of reducing the value, so to say. And that's not what I'm looking to do here. Today is about ownership. And ownership says, yeah, it was a 30-day challenge. I messed up. I wasn't active. I wasn't consistent. But I'm not done. I get to start over. Yeah, I hesitated yesterday, but today I'm going to be on point. Yeah, I may have negotiated with my lower self, but I can raise my standard. I can get back up. Because how we behave in these moments, it determines if and how we actually finish. we can all get excited in the beginning. We can all have these great goals, and we shouldn't have great goals. They should be small, achievable goals. But if we can't achieve the small things, what does that say about us when the big things come? And part of the reason why I wanted us to do these small goals is to reveal who you are. I had a challenge a few years ago to a guy that was overweight. And I told him for the next 30, there were two guys actually. Actually, one of them is in this group. Both of them I gave the same instruction to. I said, hey, because they wanted to improve their physical endurance, performance, and overall well-being. And I said, hey, 1 push-up a day. And they both were like, oh, I can do that, 1 push-up, because it's easy. And the things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. So I said, okay, you can do 1, can you do 5? He said, look, I can do 30 a day. I said, let's start small. Let's do 5 a day. He said, okay. First day, checked in with him. He was doing the 5, both of them. After a week, one of the guys fell off completely. He stopped doing it. It was too easy. The other guy went from 5. I believe he went to 10. A month later, the other guy, still obese. 2 months later, I completely forgot. And the other guy, person A, who was consistent, I believe, and he can tell you his story. I think he was doing about 50. His goal was just to do the numbers, but he also noticed an increase in his chest size, a decrease in his overall, I want to say his fat profile. He wasn't fat or obese, but he became stronger in other areas as a result of this. And he noticed things that weren't necessarily tied to doing the push-ups because he started small with 1 thing versus the other guy, same task, same objective, but gave up. He couldn't do the 5, but he wanted to do the 30. So today, we're going to talk about ownership. And this is where identity really, really matters. Because it's easy to stay committed and consistent when the process is starting. But there's a lot of people that just can't stay aligned when that process becomes repetitive, inconvenient, or worse off, invisible, when you can't see the results. Because remember, when the motivation is gone, when it disappears, when nobody's there to wake you up, when you don't hear the morning alarm, when you don't hear the motivational speech, when you don't get the reminder, the only thing left is identity. That's what remains. And so today, ask yourself, who am I becoming through my actions today? And you might be wondering, why are we asking the same questions? The answer needs to be the same, but if the answer keeps shifting, you keep trying to accommodate a different version, a lower version, then what is that saying? What are you tolerating? Where are you still negotiating? I'm just going to sleep for a little bit longer. Or I'm going to rest today. That decision happens at night, believe it or not. Every night I make a decision that this is what I'm going to do the next morning. If God gives me the renewed purpose, the renewed fresh breath, this is what's going to happen. So what would the future version of me choose today? What would that future identity, that person that I aspire to be, what would they choose? Would they choose this? Would this be something that they negotiate on? God has given us dominion and authority. I believe that, I know this. He's given us dominion, authority over our bodies, over our circumstances. But you got to walk in alignment. And you got to walk with it consistently, not emotionally, not because I feel like or I'm tired. No, those things can be quieted. And there's a Bible verse that says that God will renew our strength and we will soar like eagles. And it's so powerful. Because if you've ever watched an eagle, when the eagle flies, it's not using its own strength. It's using the wind. It's not flapping its wings and using its effort. That gift comes from God. And there's a reason why that proverb is so powerful. Because when those moments of weakness come, it's God's strength. You look at the other birds and they got to flap, 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 flap. They got to use all their effort. But the eagle flies so high. The only other birds you're going to see up there with the eagle are other eagles soaring. And what are they doing? They're focused. And that's why God uses these analogies. That's why we can appreciate them. Look around you. Look at everything that God created today. Look at the tree. Look at the birds. This stuff doesn't stop, guys. It's not a 30-day challenge. This is a life challenge. Your life could be over in 30 days. What are you going to do? You look at the tree. The minute the tree stops growing, guess what happens? It's dead. The minute the animals stop hunting, they stop fishing, they stop being, they cease to exist. And that's why this is a growth challenge. We got to keep growing. This stuff doesn't stop. So if you're feeling tired today, welcome. If you're feeling frustrated, welcome. This is the part of you that you have to become comfortable with this discomfort. When you see the rich getting richer, when you see people 80, 90 years old still going to work, still hustling, and you wonder, why are they still doing it? It's not the money. They have an identity that they're trying to live up to. They've created a standard so high that the only thing that can take them away from that standard is death. What standard have you created for yourself today? What standard can nothing get in the way of? Sleep, money, pride, ego, food. What standard is so high that it's non-negotiable for your family, for your lineage? So today, let's return to ownership. Okay? Not guilt, not perfection, ownership. And there's a difference between ownership and accountability. And the beauty about ownership, and the beauty about this all, you can start today. You fell off yesterday, so what? Today is a new day. Today is day 6. You can call it day 1. Your 30-day challenge can start today. And by now, if you've been doing this challenge, and I've been talking to some people, including myself, you've been seeing something a little bit more clearly. Life is not changing when or because things around you are changing. Life is changing when you change. And it happens slowly, it happens subtly, and you wake up one day and you realize, oh my goodness, I have 3 kids. Oh my goodness, I have 4 kids. Oh my goodness, I have a thriving business. Oh my goodness, I have $1 million in my account. Oh my goodness, I have customers who depend on me. Most people are going to spend the next few days, the next few weeks, even years waiting for opportunity, waiting for motivation, waiting for support, for clarity, waiting for the perfect time to execute. There's another passage in the Bible that says, wait on the Lord. And that word that's translated, the closest word that we have is wait. But the Jewish word, the Greek words that are used are not always accurate. That word is actually mean, while you do what you do, be patient. Actively wait. What does that mean? It means do the right thing and don't force an outcome. So the transformation that we're looking for doesn't come in the waiting. It begins the moment excuses lose their authority, the moment doubt loses its authority, the moment fear, shame, guilt, ridicule lack loses their authority in your life, and you claim that God-given authority. God gave you that authority. Don't outsource it. Don't outsource it to your wallet. Don't outsource it to your pride. Don't outsource it to your family or to your pastor. Don't allow any other human being to take dominion and authority that God has given you. We're never commanded to rule over each other, to have dominion or authority over each other. So today, with this ownership, ask yourself, who have I been blaming? What have I been blaming? The economy, my wife? Oh, I can't do this because I don't have money, because I'm black, because I'm African, because I'm white, because I'm old, I'm too young, I'm inexperienced. There's so many excuses. What about God that's with you? Through God, I can do all. Oh, no, it's through God I can do some things, right? Is that what it is? You see, the thing about it is when God calls, when God puts something in you that's meant to be done, you don't get to see the entire picture. You have to have faith in just the next step, knowing that as you progress, you will be qualified. It's so funny how we have this imposter syndrome, but we only have the imposter syndrome when it comes to success. I've never heard anybody say that they have imposter syndrome when it comes to failure. You are living an imposter life if you're living in failure. That's not what God created you for. So reframe things and understand that it's not just about living an imposter syndrome from the success standpoint. I'm too inexperienced. No, how about this? The life you're living right now is not the life that God created for you. And how do I know? Because you're still here. When your job is finished, you're done. Jesus said, "It is finished." He was done with his mission. God's will for his life was completed. So what is God's will for your life? And you think, oh, it's to own a business. Owning a business is just a way for you to reach people. So back to ownership. Ownership is power. And the moment you start owning something, you own your mind, you own your habits, you own your reactions. You got mad. Don't say somebody made me mad. You allowed yourself to be mad. Own your finances. If you don't have money, claim it. I don't have money today, but that's not who I am. I messed up. Own your health. You got back pain? Own it. Own your relationships. Things aren't going well with your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your mother-in-law. Own it. Own your discipline. Are you fat? Are you obese? Are you out of shape? And own your direction. You can turn that around any day. We're called to repent, to turn around, and stop living like a victim of these circumstances and start operating as a co-creator of your life. The God in you has ordained you for greatness. So that future version that we keep talking about, that seems to be unattainable, that version of you does not waste energy explaining, making excuses. Oh, this is why things are hard. No, that version of you adjusts. They learn. They move. They're a kingdom builder. They execute. So for today, let's look for one area, just one specific place in your life where there's procrastination and where you've been giving away power, where there's fear and you call it wisdom. It's not wise if there's a crosswalk and you don't cross the street because it's actually fear of getting hit by a car. That's not wisdom. Look for those areas where you have comfort and you call it peace. Look for those places where there's distraction and you call it being busy. You're distracted, bro. You are on Instagram 3 hours a day. That's not busy work. You're not looking for anything on Facebook for 3 hours. The lack of discipline, and you say, I'm just human. I get to eat a cheesecake in the middle of the night. That's not human. You lack the discipline. Listen, this is not easy stuff to hear, okay? Just be honest with yourself. You can lie to us in the group. You can lie to your family, but don't lie to yourself. Now, what would the version of you who already overcame all of these lies, what would they do today? Not next week, not tomorrow. What would they do today? Don't wait for the conditions to get better. Jim Rohn said, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. And every day that you delay becoming who you know you can be, what you're doing is you're reinforcing the identity that you're trying to leave behind. Because that's why we're doing this challenge. There's a part of us that we want dead. We want left behind. So don't underestimate the small, the little, the quote unquote insignificant actions. I was at a the other day and there was this big, massive door. And on that door, there were little hinges. Those little hinges control the in and the out and the swinging of that door. And that's how one life decision, one small decision, repeated daily, can change your entire generation, can change your entire bloodline. And tonight, as we end our day, let's reflect on how things went. Where did you reclaim your power? And where are you still waiting for somebody to save you, for somebody to give you permission to become who you already know you can be? They're not coming. That ownership is internal. The accountability is just the expression of what's already internal. And that's the difference. You can be accountable and not own it. I have people that are accountable for certain things, but they don't own it. What we're looking for is ownership. Accountability is great, but we need ownership and accountability. Accountability says, well, you put me in charge of this and I'm going to do what I did with it. But ownership says, this is mine and I'm going to deal with it. It's a mindset. So let's be mindful today. Own our health, own our finances, and create the responsibility and not wait for the results to come first. What happens today is going to reveal whether your ownership of anything is real. Because we say we want the freedom, but we resist, we fight against the ownership. So today, let's operate at that level that we wrote down from day one.